This week on The Grind, we're looking for redemption, headed out to the same field as day one in Kansas.
I yearn for a place to call my own. I'm going home. Say what you will, I'll be better for it still. I've been wondering what you're doing with your time, just to get you off my mind. I'm in the grind.
The Grind Waterfowl TV is brought to you by Dakota Decoy, premium gunning decoys for demanding hunters. Lucky Duck, masters of deception. Rio, official ammunition of The Grind. Share the experience. Mud Buddy, the king of mud motors. Excel, the boat to own. Cornerstone Gundog Academy, the world's most accessible online retriever training program. High Mountain Seasonings, handcrafted jerky, seasonings, and meat processing tools. Sitka Gear, turning clothing into gear. Alps Outdoors, exceed your expectations. Benelli, simply perfect. And these fine sponsors. This segment is brought to you by Mud Buddy and Excel Boats.
Last hunt of the season, man.
It's your last hunt?
Yep. Last time I'll be putting any camo on this season. 'Cause I don't wear camouflage in public. It's kind of weird. Day 2 scouting, that afternoon, guys found birds in several places, but probably one of the best feeds was where we had tried on day 1. And we knew we were going to have sun, we have a great edge hide, we have a much better wind, and the conditions were right and they were in here. So we had a little chat about it and decided it would be a great call to come back to that field and give them a try again, give it a little shot at redemption with these birds when the fog had lifted and conditions were just right.
I'm tired. I'm gonna sleep all afternoon when you guys leave.
Day 3 was, I think everybody was a little bit nervous because we were hunting the same field that we hunted on day 1. After the morning hunt on day 2, we all went and scouted, and the birds were right back in the same field from day 1. They actually never left. On day 1, they short stopped us. We decided as a group to let them just leave them alone because the hunt really wasn't working anyway. So we let them get comfortable, and they went right back in there on the night of day 2. So we decided to take a chance. We had the perfect wind for it. It was going to be sunny. We took a chance, had a really good hide.
We got a straight south wind this morning. We're edge hiding again. We're gonna use upright blinds underneath kind of a tree. Brush them in real heavy on the front with a bunch of cut limbs.
We're gonna run a long line out in front of the blinds, and then we're gonna make a real heavy spot just on the right side of it, just to kind of draw them down that line, and then try to get them to hover over that thick spot of the decoys. Should be perfect right in the front of the blinds. They should do it good today. Got good wind, sunshine.
We hunted this field on day 1 and it was super foggy. Birds would not cooperate at all. Ended up short stopping us in the same field, and we just left them alone and we got out of there. And yesterday they were back in here really thick, so we came back looking for a little bit of redemption.
Day 3 was about 30 to 32 degrees in the morning. It was supposed to warm up to, I think, mid-50s, high 50s that day. We had a great wind. It was from the south-southwest. 10 to 15 miles per hour is going to increase as the hunt went on. Perfect for our edge hide on the west side. We had a great setup. We had running about 30 to 40 dozen Dakota decoys, 30 dozen Canadas, 10 dozen spec decoys. And the first probably 3 to 5 flocks we saw were V'd up, headed north.
Here we go. left shoulder, left shoulder.
Sit. Front left, front left, front left.
Started spinning the center of the field, which is pretty typical. That's really where they wanted to be. They weren't paying us much attention. And then they just started doing some really odd flight movements. I don't even know really how to explain it. It was almost like something scared them. They spun.
What are they doing, dude? Look at
Got real tight together, balled up, flew off, flew around, flying as fast as possible.
And I don't think any of us know what happened. There was an airplane up somewhere, but it looked like they had gotten attacked by a hawk or something. They just started flying really fast, moving erratically, moved right over where we thought they were going to set up on our wind and just kept going. And we're all just looking at each other wondering what in the world. Then they came back again.
Then they ended up coming back, and we finally convinced them to come take a look, and it ended up being one of the best flocks of the day.
This segment is brought to you by Rio Ammunition.
This field has a perfect edge that actually is a bit of a grassy tree row that comes out in the middle of two fields here. It's not super thick, it's not super intimidating for birds, but it is a fun fact when you hunt in Kansas. There are a lot of great edges, great rows between different fields that allow you to either A-frame or just hide better than being out in the middle that I think give you a greater chance at success, both in shooting and in decoying birds with your hide and them not picking you out.
Come on, boys! Right there.
Red! Bruno!
Nice rain out, boys.
Bruno!
Woo!
Man, that took forever.
Oh, that was great.
How long did that take, dude?
Way too long. I don't know what was going on there.
long to be comfortable.
We're trying to pull them over to the edge. They really want to be out in the middle, so we're trying multiple things, not calling a lot, flagging a lot. They really ate up the flag, so we're gonna continue to do that, and hopefully we can keep shooting geese.
Dead. Heel. 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 Get back. Back. Yeah? Good. Here. Sit. Here. Here. Sit. Dead. Sit. Sit. Red. Red. Get back.
This first flock of the day didn't install a lot of confidence, and we weren't happy to see birds migrating past us and headed north. But these were February birds that had probably seen dozens of spreads and hunters over the last several months. Even with the weird flying patterns, the result was the same. The skunk was off our back.
Well, that was kind of weird, not gonna lie.
That's one of the weirdest groups of birds I've ever seen work.
Hard left. Not too high. Stay down, stay down. Do not move. Good dog, brother. Let's kill him. Rain out. Nice rain out. Woo! Watch the bird on the left, Colby. Watch that bird on the left.
When birds decoy facing straight on, a lot of the time the flock will split in half, and it can be tougher shooting. But these birds were a crossing shot, and they were balling up on the shot call, making for some big rainouts.
That's pretty saucy right there. A little later in the day, I think the sunshine's helping us out a little more. We got some wind picking up, but they did it
Go
good.
back. Here, here, dead. Here, go back. Here, dead. Heel, heel, dead bird. Go back. Dead. Good boy. Dead. Are they ever? That was an epic shot. Ben called the shot at the perfect moment. Got a lot of firepower out here, so that was a pretty wicked rain out. Hopefully we'll do it again. Having a good time. Get back.
Josh here, and this is a Cornerstone Gundog Academy training tip. And so in this segment, what we're going to talk about is what type of whistle to use. Now there's a lot of whistles out there, but for our purposes, we like to use the Acme 211.5. Now this whistle has multiple uses that are very valuable. Number one, you can use it as a recall whistle, so multiple peeps, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, recalling your dog into you. The other thing you can do with it is a stop to the whistle, one solid peep and have your dog stop to the whistle. And then one other really awesome fact about this whistle is that you can do what's called the hunt whistle. And now the hunt whistle is a certain tone with inflection that tells your dog to stick its nose to the ground and start hunting because it's close to the bird. If you can condition your dog to do that, anytime you get your dog near the area of the fall, you can blow that hunt whistle and it's gonna help them get the bird a lot quicker. Roxy.
This segment is brought to you by Dakota Decoy.
So it is February, you know, the migration, usually you want it to work in your favor. We want a reverse migration from the south, we want them to stay here. But sometimes that's just not how it works. The ice line's a little farther north of us and we were watching a bunch of birds head north and it just kind of stressed me out. And then what was really odd about the morning is the roost was to the south of us and our roost birds actually never even flew. We were having a lot of birds trade from the north back to us. Not sure if they're the same birds or if there was another roost to the north that the birds split on because of the warm weather or what was going on, but it worked out great. You know, sometimes it takes a little luck to have a good hunt. No, you're good, you're good. Red,
Woo!
Bruno!
Watch that. See that bird, Burton? He's gonna sail. That was awesome.
I see him.
We had to work
I
for
see him.
those. Good shooting,
Good boy.
boys.
Good
There
boy.
he goes. There he goes.
Good
there
boy.
he goes.
Dead.
See him, Barton?
I see him.
Boom. Good line.
So I got a new dog. Bruno's been in the States for just a couple weeks, a little less than 2 weeks actually, and he's bonded to me pretty quickly. I took him on a hunt over water a couple days ago, and this was his first hunt in a dry field. Second time to ever see a goose or a Canada goose, I would imagine. first time seeing decoys and calls and all that in a true hunting situation. So he's adjusted very well. He's picked everything up quickly, had some awesome retrieves with Red, who's a bit of a veteran for all this now. And it was really fun having a dog out in his first time in a field and watching him put it together and go from, you know, sitting in the blind looking at me to sitting out, peeking his head around, figuring out where the birds are coming from, and navigating through a decoy spread and all that stuff. It was really fun to see.
Nice work, guys.
Here.
We had to work for them.
Yeah, we did.
Dead.
How we doing on? What do you guys got here?
Yeah, those birds did not get up to come to this field. Those birds were worked.
The last hunt of the regular waterfowl season was going just how we wanted. The shooting was great, the dogs were machines, and plenty of smiles filled the blind. This segment is brought to you by Lucky Duck Premium Decoys.
Bruno, sit. Sit.
We got a locked up group on the left.
Sit.
Those are specs, 4 specs. Here they come, here they come, here they come, here they come. You want to shoot the 4, Sean? Is the big group coming? They're too far out. We're going to shoot the 4, guys. We're going to shoot the 4.
You sure? The big group's gonna do it.
If the 4 don't land, we're screwed. Yeah. What do you want to do, Sean?
Take the 4. Big group now. All right, watch. Hey, no, land the 4. Land the 4. Land the 4.
I don't think they're going to land. What are you going to do, Sean?
Just wait and see. Wait and see.
Sit. The one's hanging a leg. There you go. Nice shooting, guys.
Red,
Nice
Bruno.
shooting. Those are a little farther out, you know. We were going to shoot the 4. They swung a little closer the first time they came through, but the big group was really sucking, and the 4 swung back out, and they were a little farther out, and they were going to pick up, so we went ahead and chose to shoot the 4 instead of waiting on the group, because if the 4 flares, then we'll lose the group too. So it was good shooting for a farther shot.
Beautiful bird right there. Good boy. Good boy. Dead. That right there is a nice, pretty speck. Good boy. So is this one. Dead. Pair of nice birds. Just from looking at social media and posts from various guys and discussions, it seems like overall this has been a difficult season. And I think most of the outfitters and the freelancers I've talked to have agreed it's just been tougher this year. Conditions, whatever reasons, might be behind that. It's just been tough, but it's fun hunting with Ben, watching on social media, texting, Snapchatting all season, seeing that even when it is tough, these guys have been grinding out and crushing ducks, crushing geese all season long, figuring out how to change things up and make the birds work and not just get through a tough season, but get through a tough season with a lot of great hunts. So we had a lot of confidence coming in to hunt with Big Kansas and Ben, and it surely wound up being an awesome time. Day 2 and day 3, we got on the birds, shot well, birds decoyed well. It was exactly what I've come to expect coming out here and hunting with Big Kansas Outdoors. Sit. Get back. So what were your thoughts? Do you think if those don't land, we're screwed on the big flock?
Yep. If they ended up picking up and making any kind of the whole group would leave.
Well, probably should. They were way closer at first pass.
The day 3 was pretty special just for the simple fact that, my team of guys, we don't typically ever get to hunt together. 1 or 2 of us will run a hunt, but typically we've never all been on a hunt together. So it was really fun to have everyone there, and it really made the hunt that much better because the shooting was phenomenal. Typically, when we're running clients, there are a lot of clients that come through that, they hunt once or twice a year and the shooting's just not there. But it was really fun today, and actually all 3 days, just to have really good shooters in the blind. Anywhere from 6 to, we had 12 or 13 bird rain out today. It just makes it really fun when everyone's dialed in, everyone's shooting their lanes, doing what they're supposed to. It just makes everything come together great.
So this is the last trip of the season for me. We're here at the end of last week of goose season for dark geese, and it was really awesome to come all the way up here to Kansas and hunt with Ben and hunt with the guys on the grime, and able to make the most out of a long drive with a lot of dogs all the way up to central Kansas.
If you like goose hunting and you've never tried hunting little Canada geese and specks, you need to come give us a try. Central Kansas is a phenomenal place. We're hunting huge feeds, anywhere from 5 up to 20,000. And what makes little geese so fun is they're loud. There's a lot of them. You know, it's not your typical honker hunt where you have anywhere from 2 to 12 honkers coming in at a time. I mean, we're talking big spins, anywhere of 100 up to 1,000 sometimes. It just makes it really fun. And the variety of geese that you get to shoot on a hunt with us, we shoot snows, Rossies, little Canadas, sometimes honkers, speckled-bellied geese. It's just really fun. If you've never tried it and you're interested in it, give us a call. We'd be more than happy to take you guys out.
Over the years, the grind has had some great hunts here, and this year was no different. Kansas gave us some of the best decoying we'd had in weeks. But this hunt had brought about the end of the regular waterfowl season, and with it, a bittersweet ending. While we'd had some good hunts and a lot of fun throughout the season, it was also a season plagued with stale weather and stale birds. We were happy to see the prospect of spring, a new breeding season, and a different fall on the horizon. However, that would have to wait just a couple more months. Our eyes were set on spring snows and the challenges that conservation season always brings. But today was the end of another trip to Kansas and another success. Next week on The Grind, we're hunting snow geese in South Dakota for the Spring Conservation Order.